Alright, we're going to start off first giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Yahweh Yahweh been the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai been the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Now we're going to get into Bible prophecy, spirit of prophecy, which is the testimony of Yahweh Shai, and do like Proverbs 1 and 20 say, let wisdom cry out in the streets. And like Matthew 22 and 9, it say he sent his men to the highways to bring out these prophecies. Now I'm going to start off with Jeremiah 28. This spells it out perfectly. This Jeremiah 28 and 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So the prophets always came out and prophesied the downfall of all these kingdoms. Daniel gave a good example of how he had the vision and interpreted the vision of those kingdoms and their end and the beginning of the next. And I'm going to start this one off with 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, because this is the main idea of these scriptures. The 2nd Ezra 6, starting at verse 7, it says, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the time? Meaning, what's going to be the end of the time, end of the age? It says, oh, when shall be the end of the first? So it's really going into the end of the first. It says, and the beginning of it that followeth. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, so when you go into the scriptures, you see how these two nations is being the focus point of the prophecy. The prophecies is focusing on these two nations. So let's go to that beginning in Genesis 25, starting at 21. It says, and Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her. See, they were struggling straight from the beginning. They made it so bad, Isaac had to go to the Lord. So he had to go to the prophets and see what was going on. It says, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in your womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from your bowels. So now he's talking about these two nations that's in the womb of Rebekah, Isaac's wife, which is the children of Isaac. And Isaac was the son of Abraham, who was given the blessing, who all of the blessings was given to. Let me see if I can quote that real quick. Let's see, verse, let's see here. This is Genesis 25, and it talks about Isaac receiving everything. Verse 5, it says, and Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. So Isaac was the one was given the blessing, because everybody that he had like 7 children, 7 to 8 children. So he gave everything to Isaac. So now Isaac is having these children, and these children is in the womb of his wife Rebecca, and they struggling with each other. Now going back to 23, it's Genesis 25 and 23. It says, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from your bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So this is talking about prophecy. What's going to happen? And see, when you look at the history of these children, the elder never served the younger. The younger was serving the elder. You see, they trying to say the elder was already exterminated. The elder was already in non-existent. He died off and mingled in, mixed in with the Israelites. That's a lie. Okay. Now it says, the elder shall serve the younger. The 23. It says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the furs came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. So he's showing you how the future prophecy was going to take place. Now, let's see here. Let's get that Jeremiah, a duplication of that Jeremiah verse in Ephesians, Apostle Paul. This is Ephesians chapter 6. And let's see here. I'm going to start with verse 11. It says, put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. You can see the devil is not who they teaching the devil is. See, they saying this devil is some kind of fallen angel, some kind of creature under the ground, some kind of rebellious spirit that the Lord don't got no control over. But this is going to explain who the devil is. This is Ephesians 6 and 12. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. That principality goes into governments, see, rulers, kings. It says, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. See, and the Lord is ruling in the kingdom of men. So he's setting up these men to rule. He's talking about men. He didn't set up no fallen angels to rule this world. He didn't set up no fallen angels, no rebellious angels to rule anything, or allow some rebellious angels to rule something. No, he set up the base men, the wicked men, to rule the world. It says, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. So let's go get that Daniel, because I don't want to go off my own words. It's Daniel 4 and 17. It says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the Holy One, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High reigneth in the kingdom of men. See, not in the kingdom of that was ruled by some fallen angels. It says, and giveth it to whosoever he will, and set up over it the bases of men. So he set up Esau over the world. Let's get that in Job. This is Job 9:24. He says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. See, the Lord set up the bases of men. He didn't set up no rebellious angel clique. See, no kingdom of rebellious angels. That's some of the wiles of the devil. That's the wiles of these Christian governments. See, they tell you that their government is supporting this doctrine. See, their government is supporting some doctrine of lies. And their government is full of lies. That's why they equate the pastor with the politician and the pimp. See, they all is equated together because they all telling a bunch of lies. It says, this is Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. So how is he covering the faces of the judges? See, he's putting out these false images and trying to impersonate the Israelites. See, he's trying to put his image up and try to tell lies and say he is the man. Now this is the rest of it. It says, if not, where and who is he? And you got these Edomites talking about, oh, they put up a Chinese Jesus, and they put up an African one, they put up an Arab one. You a lie. See, everybody know that Hollywood run the whole world, man. And these people putting up their image up. That's why you had the Passion of Christ, the Ten Commandments was the top sold movies in the whole world. Now when you go into 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, I'm going to start with verse 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means. See, he deceiving people by covering the faces of the judges and setting up these false images. It says, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And that man of sin, see, not no fallen angel, that man of sin, the son of perdition, be revealed. So he gonna reveal a man. He not gonna reveal some fallen angel, man. And that man can stand for a nation. He gonna reveal a nation of people. That's the nation of Edom, who is the end of the world. It says, who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called God or that is worship, so that he as God sit in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. See, he's showing himself that he God when he a liar. See, he putting up white Jesus, white angels, see, white Ethiopians, white Egyptians, white Indians, everything white. See, he put himself up like he everybody. See, that's how crazy this joke is, man. He says, showing himself that he is God. And I'm going to jump down to verse 8. It says, then shall that wicked, who is the wicked? Back in Job 9:24, what did he do? He covered the faces of the judges thereof. Then shall that wicked be revealed, who the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Now the wiles of the devil, he's so crafty and so deceptive that he excluded Esau from the whole story. The whole story is about Jacob and Esau, and he done excluded the man. You go to their church and you don't hear nothing about Esau because he's trying to hide himself. See, he don't want to tell you about Esau. The whole book is talking about Esau, and he done freaking hid the man. So when you go into Malachi, let's get Malachi because he said that wicked shall be revealed. And we gonna keep revealing his behind because they trying to hide him. See, when the police identify somebody, they gonna go by the description of the person. What is this criminal doing? See, what is the criminal? How is the criminal hiding himself? This is Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. It says, whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate place. That's the Renaissance. See, when they went out of power around 90 AD, 90 something AD. See, and then you had the Byzantine Empire, and you had the Dark Ages. See, with Francesco, they call him the Renaissance man because he was bringing back all those relics and bringing back Latin, teaching Latin, giving them the whole history. Because he said it was the Dark Ages where all these Negroes was ruling. All these dark peoples in the Byzantine Empire was ruling the whole world. It says, thus says the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. So they rebuilt up their kingdom like they had it in the Greek time, and then like they had it in the Roman time. They rebuilt everything. But he said he's going to throw it down like he threw those kingdoms down. He says, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. So that wicked, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, is all going into Edom. That's why it says Edom, Esau is the end of the world. It says, and the people, not one person, and the people against who the Lord have indignation forever. See, he not gonna get these people a pass. See, he got indignation for them forever. Okay. Let's see what they got written up here. So sinful has the nation become that So when you go into they what you call it, they theology school, you'll never hear nothing about Esau. See, they Jehovah Wickedness, they Baptist church, they'll never talk about Esau. See, they want to talk about a fallen angel. Ain't no such thing as a fallen angel, man. See, these dragons been ruling. That's why he calls them the red dragon in Revelation. They are the focus of the prophecy. But they trying to hide themselves. Let's get that in Jeremiah. Because that's the premise. This Jeremiah 49, starting with verse 10, it says, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. See, that's why they put on them white sheets and try to hide behind a white sheet. Like, we didn't know you was the mayor. We didn't know you was the lawyer, the public defender. See, we didn't know you was the people in the city running the city. See, we know who you are behind that sheet. We can hear your voice. You trying to hide your crime. It says, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed, meaning his children, his bloodline, his seed is spoiled. That means destroyed. And his brethren, destroyed. And his neighbors, and he is not. See, he's not going to be able to hide, man. Talking about, oh, I'm a Christian now. I'm a universal Catholic. So you a universal lie. Now, that's the one where he's trying to hide himself. Let me get Luke 12. He thought he was going to hide the information. That's why they made a slave Bible. They said, let's make a slave Bible because we don't want to get them the real Bible. Let's make a slave Bible and take out all that stuff that they'll bring their mind back. This is Luke chapter 12, starting at verse 2. It says, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. So you can't make a slave Bible and say, oh, you know what, let's take all of that information out, let's hide the history. They'll never find out. Say, you'll never find out, lie. They're going to find out, all right. And let's get Matthew 13. Because the Lord, man's going to the Lord caused them to hide the information. So the average Edomite wouldn't even know what's going on. So when the truth come out, they flabbergasted with everybody else. Like, how is this possible? Matthew 13, and let's see here. Matthew 13, starting at verse 10, it says, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. That mystery going to secret. That's why he says, I'm going to uncover his secret places. Because those mysteries is given, those mysteries is talking about secrets. Because it's a secret of who Esau is. And who is the devil, who is Satan. It's a mystery. It's not talking about a fallen angel. It's talking about a wicked nation. The most wickedest nation in the Bible. See, you got a righteous nation in the Bible, and you got the most wickedest nation in the Bible. That's what the basis of men stand for. The basis of men is the lowest man on the totem pole. Now it says, where is it? 13, 12, 11. Yeah, it says, it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. See, it ain't given to some Negroes and Hispanics and Native Americans who got Stockholm Syndrome and in love with their captor. See, that Stockholm Syndrome, they done kidnapped you, got you in the basement, man, and you finna, when the police bust in the door, kick down the door and say, hey, you got hostages in here. Let go of the hostages. You say, no, don't do nothing to the captor. Don't mess with him. Even though he done had you in a freaking cage or a dungeon, man, torturing your behind, you gonna fight for your darn captor. Stockholm Syndrome Negro. See? It says, but to them it is not given. I'm going to jump down. I'm going to just read 14. It says, and in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which say, by hearing ye hear, by hearing ye shall hear and not understand, and seeing ye shall see and not perceive. So they'll come out their mouth, man, I done read the Bible 100 times. I done read the Bible many times. So you can hear all day and you can see all day. You ain't gonna know what's going on. So when he bring that judgment, he gonna be a thief in the night. See, he trying to be a thief in the night. So he not gonna let everybody know what's going on, man. He gonna tell the prophets, and the prophets is gonna tell the people that he chose. See, you can call all he wants. See, but it's not the called, it's the chosen. So let's go into Matthew 22 and pull that up. This is Matthew 22:9. It says, "Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage." See, now you got these Christians on the highways, man. Now they trying to copy the format, see, of the Israelites. But you wasn't doing none of that before we came and brought the truth. You was up in the church begging for money. It says, Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. I'm going to get to the point of verse 14. It says, "For many are called, but few are chosen." So he only going to choose a few that's going to humble down and listen to the prophets and get edified and built up. See, he's not going to choose everybody, man. He didn't choose them during the flood, and he's not going to choose them this time. So let's get into some more about how the wicked covered the faces of the judges. Let's get this in the so-called New Testament, where it's all one testament, testimony. It's all testifying about Yahushua. But I want this 2 Corinthians. I want to keep bringing this out. 2 Corinthians 10. Yeah, 2 Corinthians 10. It says, 2 Corinthians 10 and 4. Say, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High, to the pulling down of strongholds. So the prophet is going to be pulling down strongholds, just like pulling down the ankle of Esau. See? That's why he's speaking parables. And let me get that real quick. I'm going to stop right there. Let's go to, is it Wisdom of Solomon 8, I'm thinking. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8. Starting at verse 8. It says, "If a man desire much experience, she knoweth," and that she is talking about wisdom, "she knoweth things of old, and conjecture aright what is to come. She knoweth the subtleties of speech, and can expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders, and the events of seasons and times." So he says to expound on dark sentences. So this is what it's talking about. This is a dark sentence that he gives to the prophet. Wisdom gives to the prophet. Like he say, pulling down stronghold. What are you pulling down? Esau got a stronghold on the whole world. He blinded the whole world through his lies. It says, this is back in Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 10 and 5. "Casting down imagination." So what is that imagination? What is that image? Because the root word of imagination is image. Casting down the image of white Jesus. That's what it's talking about. Casting down the image of Edomite, leprosy having, albinism having, Esau. Okay? Say, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High. What did 2 Thessalonians say? 2 Thessalonians, it said that he exalted himself above everything that shall be worshipped. Esau, the man of sin, the son of destruction. He exalted himself. It says, exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of a Mashiach. Now what is that bringing down? When he pulled Esau down, he gonna pull him down into captivity. See? It's all connected. Pulling down the images, the white Jesus, the false image, and he gonna pull Esau, his whole kingdom, down into captivity. Power. It says every thought to the obedience of the Mashiach, and having in a readiness to revenge. See? And that putting down is going to be a part of revenge. See, he's getting revenge on these kings of the earth that's destroying the whole earth. It says to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. So this is what the Lord is bringing the prophets to reveal. Let's get that chapter 4 and show how he's got an image. He's deceiving everybody through these images. Witchcraft. That's why it says spiritual wickedness in high places, because the government is pushing that crap. It says, in 2 Corinthians 4:4, it says, in who the God of this world, talking about the government, the rulers of the kingdom of Esau, and who the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of a Mashiach, who is the image of the Most High. See, now he's blinding them from the image, from the true image. So let's put up the false image so they won't understand what's going on. So once you put up the false image, the true image is going to be covered over. That's what Job said. He's covering the faces of the judges. He covering them up with a false image. See, putting up white Jesus, Edomite, leprosy having Jesus, which is a lie. The Lord was an unblemished lamb. He didn't have no blemishes, leprosy, albinism, recessive genes. He didn't have none of that. He was an unblemished lamb, perfect. See, when you perfect, you don't have leprosy. When you perfect, you don't have albinism. Now this is 2 Corinthians 4:4. One more time, it says, lest the light of the glorious gospel of a Mashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. For we preach not ourselves. See, but that's what Esau do. He said, well, let's grab this Bible and we're going to preach ourselves. We're not going to preach what's in the book. We're going to put ourselves in the book. And then try to turn it around on us and say, we trying to put ourselves in the book. Say, no, you put yourself in the book. It says, where was I? For we preach not ourselves, but a Mashiach Yahushua, the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Yahushua's sake. So that image is how they deceived everybody, man. Putting up them false images. Let's get that in. The Greeks did the same thing. What is it? Is it Maccabees? Second Maccabees 3. First Maccabees. Let me talk first Maccabees. First Maccabees 3 and 48. It says, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. So they put their images in the book. Oh, Moses, he looked like me and my uncle. I'm gonna draw a painting. I'm gonna make a painting, a world-renowned painting of Moses looking like my uncle. See, I don't care what the Israelites look like. I'm gonna put my uncle up there because I want him to look like my uncle. It says the heathen have sought to paint the likeness of their images. So they put up white Jesus, white Moses, white King David, see, white Solomon, white everybody. A dragon, boy. Straight, bold-faced lies. And now the truth coming out, they got an attitude. Let's get King Solomon prophesying about the whole situation. This is Wisdom of Solomon, starting at verse 12. It says this Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them, the corruption of life. So they created an idol, man, of an Edomite leprosy having Yahweh Shah. Now it says, I'm gonna start with 12 and go on down. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by vain glory of men they entered into the world, because he wanted to put up his son, see, who had done died. Say, let me get Michelangelo to make a picture of my son. He says, for neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by vain glory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly at an end. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning. So that father was Alexander the 6th Pope of Rome. See, what was his name? Bozier, the 6th Pope of Rome. It says, when he have made an image of his son. See, that's Caesar Bozier. They put up Caesar Bozier, see, because his daddy was the Pope. So he put his son up and said, this is Jesus right here. Michelangelo, make a portrait of your lover, my son. It says, when he have made an image of his child, soon taken away. Now honor him as a God. See, now he's saying, oh, this is God. White Jesus. See, we are the Israelites and we are God. It says, which was then a dead man and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices. Verse 16. Thus in process of time and ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law. And you got these wicked Negroes, man, talking about Ebony Magazine. Ebony Magazine put up a dark-skinned Yahweh, and these wicked Negroes talking about something. We gonna boycott y'all magazine, and they sending images of leprosy Edomite Jesus, man, to the freaking Ebony Magazine people. They done put up the correct image, and a bunch of wicked, brainwashed Negroes gonna try to boycott the people. It says, and then when it says, it was thus in process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law. So when they came over here to the Native Americans, they had a cross in their hand and Caesar Borgia in the other hand. See, you gonna bow down to this Christian white Jesus, or we gonna chop you into pieces. It says, and graven images were worshipped by the commandment of kings. See, who was running around the whole world killing people, talking about you got to be a Christian? See, Esau, Edom. It says, who, this King Solomon now, who men could not honor in presence because they drew far off, they took the counterfeit of his vengeance from far. Because Yahweh was dead. And Caesar Borgia was dead. So you can worship the man in real life. It says, and made an express image of a king who they honored to the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent as if he were present. So King Solomon, he done wrote out way before the situation happened. He done prophesied that they're gonna put up a fake white leprosy having Esau Jesus. See, and he was never he never had leprosy. He was never a white person, man. It says, I'm gonna jump down to 20 to get to the point. It says, and so the multitude allured by the grace of the work took him now for a god, which a little before was but honored as a man. So now Caesar Borgia and the Pope, the fifth Pope of Rome, they honoring them like they freaking God, man. And these jokers, they probably wouldn't even honor him as a man because he was a whole flaming alphabet person, kissing on Michelangelo and whoever he was messing with. So that was wisdom of Solomon that prophesied about what they was gonna do. Now there's another one here in Ezekiel. I think Ezekiel 23. Ezekiel 23. Yep. Ezekiel 23, starting at let's see, starting at verse 9. Yeah, starting at verse 9. It says, wherefore I have delivered her into the hand of her lover. That's us going into slavery unto these heathen. It says, into the hand of the Assyrians upon who she doted. These discovered her nakedness and took her sons and her daughters and slew her with the sword. See, they took us in slavery, and then all these people's on this chart. See, they took all of these people into slavery and they slew their sons and daughters with the sword. See, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they was killed with the sword. Okay, that's Ezekiel 23 and 10. It says, and she became famous among women. I mean, famous among the nations for being slaughtered, going into slavery. Okay. Oh, I done lost my page that quick. 23 and 10, it says, she became famous among women, for they had executed judgment upon her. So everybody knew the nation of Israel done went into slavery, man. The Lord punished they behind. Verse 11, it says, and when her sister Aholibah saw this, she was more corrupted in her inordinate love than she, and in her whoredoms more than her sister in her whoredom. It says, she doted upon the Assyrians, her neighbors, captains and rulers, clothed most glorious, horsemen riding upon horses, all of them desirable young men. Then I saw that she was defiled, that